Yo, 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 what is going on YouTube? Another day, another live stream, and I just want to say, I hope all y'all had a great Thanksgiving. I didn't stream last week. I was traveling. I was in Ohio. I was in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I wasn't in my hometown. Wasn't able to make content for all of you guys to start streams. So I hope you won last week. I hope you asked your question in one of the comments because I was still answering the comments, except for a few of you who asked questions 20 minutes before kickoff. I did miss those questions, but apologies on that. But I hope you won. We're helping you win week 14. We're in the prime time of the season, so I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Hit that like button if you haven't already. We're going to get going. We're going to start answering all to be back with each and every one of you. We got South C here in the building. South, good to see you. You said, would you start Najee or Isaac Guerrero? Also need to drop one of Brooks or Coleman. Need to pick up a kicker because you got Guerrero off of waivers. Totally fine here, South. So number one, between Najee and Isaac Guerrero, we got Najee this week versus, it's a pretty good matchup for him versus Cleveland, but we also got Isaac versus Chicago. Chicago's been pretty bad against running backs as much as their safeties and cornerbacks have been good against wide receivers. Personally, for me, I do want to go with Isaac Guerrero here, South, over Najee Harris. Now, in regards to then who we're going to drop between Jonathan Brooks and Coleman, I'll be honest, guys. I realized I probably should have shaved today. We got a little bit of a stash going, but that's okay. I'll personally be dropping Coleman here, not because I don't like Coleman's upside, just because I think Brooks, we saw some flashes of life last week, and I want to hold that on my bench, South, for the playoffs. Now, because you said you need to pick up a kicker. So, yeah, I would drop Coleman, and then I would start Isaac Guerrero there, South. Appreciate you. We got Moses here in the building. He said, hey, Caleb. Hey, man, I had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you did, too. I'm not a big, turkey lover guy, so I do like myself some brisket, some ham, some steak, but I love all the sides. I love all the sides that are available. You said, bro, please help me. You like my wide receivers this week. You got J-Mo and Jaden Reed and flexing Jacoby Myers. Thoughts? Should I take out J-Mo and flex Otten? Thanks. No, I'm still flexing J-Mo above K-Dotton. K-Dotton has come back down to earth over the last 2 weeks. Now, we got a lot of upside here, Moses, but we also got a very low floor. So you got to be a little bit worried about this overall performance of your wide receivers. But Moses, I'm wishing you luck, but I would still be flexing J-Mo over Cade Otten there, my guy. Element W, appreciate you being here, bro. We got Gabriel here in the building. Yo, dude, I haven't seen you in a hot minute. Good to see you. Tato said, Kelsey or Jonnu Smith. Is this a crazy question to anybody else? It's not crazy, Tato, because of how absolutely freaking amazing Jonnu Smith has been. But who would have thought that we're in week 14 of the season and we're saying to ourselves, do I play Travis Kelce, maybe the GOAT tight end of all time, or Jonnu Smith, who's the leading target getter on the Miami Dolphins over Tyreek Hill? Absolutely insane. We got Jonnu versus the Jets, Travis Kelce versus the Chargers. I still lean Travis Kelce here, Tato, but I have them one spot apart in my ranking. So if you do want to lean with Jonnu over Kelce, I understand, but I would go with Travis Kelce. And then Gabriel said, do I need help at running back? I have CMC, Mixon, and K9. Do I need help at running back? I mean, yeah, CMC is going to be out for the rest of the year. You got Mixon, who I have Mixon as my RB6 rest of the season, but K9 is going to be sliding in my RB13 spot. So do you need help? I mean, it's not ideal because you do have CMC that got hurt, but I think you should be okay to go with those other two players. Then we got our guy, Gerger, a.k.a. J. Remy, a.k.a. producer on the beat. Hey, Gerger, wait, pause. I'm going to pause this music, and we're gonna play a little bit of a J. Remy type beat here. So giving the people what they want. So, yeah, no, appreciate you, Jay. Thanks, Gerger. Thanks for tuning in. We got Hunter here in the building. He said, would you start Tyreek or Tracy this week? If I win, I go to the playoffs. Hunter, great question. Putting all the pressure on me, bro. Putting all the pressure. So we got Tracy. I feel like you gotta go. I think you gotta go Tracy this week versus New Orleans. But as we saw with last week, Hunter, Tyreek had his best week, his second best week of the season last week. Is hit or miss. It's hit or miss. There's ultimate level upside with Tyreek here, but I lean with Tyrone Tracy because I think you're gonna get enough volume there to be solid. Now, I don't know what the ceiling's going to be like. Like we said, this Giants offense has been pretty pitiful, but I do lean Tyrone Tracy this week there, Hunter. Element said 6-0 in NBA fantasy. I'm locked in, bro. Hey, bro. Sorry I can't help you win there, but I appreciate you nonetheless. Jesus saves gangsters too. I love that. I love that element. Eddie said, yo, Caleb, happy belated Thanksgiving. Hey, happy belated Thanksgiving, Eddie. Hope you had a good day. You said you wondered which two to pick. Neighbors, Tyreek, Higgins, and Judy. Thanks. Ooh, yeah, we're going T for sure in my rankings here. And then it's kind of just up in air here between Tyreek Hill and between Malik and Neighbors. I personally lean with Malik Neighbors over Tyreek Hill. So I would go with Malik Neighbors and T. Higgins. But Eddie, I will say, after what we saw last week from Tyreek, it's a little bit hard not to want to go with the Tyreek side. Jeff said, need one wide receiver, one flex, full PPR, Dowdle, Ridley, Jacoby Myers, or BTJ. I don't think we're going to be able to fully trust Jeff BTJ here with no Trevor Lawrence. That was an absolutely nasty hit. So I personally will be going with Dowdle as my number one. And then it kind of comes down to, do you prefer Ridley or do you prefer Jacoby Myers? And if I were you, I personally lean Calvin Ridley over Jacoby Myers, but it is pretty close. So I would go with Rico Dowdle, and then I would go with Jacoby Myers. No, Calvin Ridley. Sorry, I mixed them up because, like I said, I have Jacoby Myers a spot below. So Jeff, Calvin Ridley, and Rico Dowdle. Sorry about that, Jeff. And then you said Otton or Hawkinson. Listen, I think I'm still leaning Cade Otton here, but I also would understand it's versus Vegas. Cade Otton's been on a little bit of a quiet streak here over the last 2 games. Actually, you could argue the last 3 games, but I still lean Cade Otton here. Even though TJ Hawkinson, for those that kept TJ Hawkinson, week 12 versus Chicago, we did have a pretty big game, but week 13 versus Arizona was kind of so-so. But I still personally lean with Cade Otton there. Jeff, Element, you said I have Scary Terry, Daniels, Dell, and Mixon out. Bro, that's rough, bro. That's rough. See, I'll get to your question here in a second. I just saw Element said Cardinals or Niners D. Element, I'm going with the Cardinals D this week. And I personally, I actually, in a league, Element, I picked up the 49ers D, didn't realize the Cardinals D was out there, and I dropped the D that I picked up, the 49ers D, for the Cardinals D. So I go with the Cardinals D. C Wolves, good to see you. He said, what's up, number one? Standard, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. I have Mixon, A-Chain, Chase Brown, Evans, Kupp, Lamb, and Collins, Tracy, Grundo, and Adams on waivers. Am I making any changes? You got Tracy, standard. Yeah, I think here we got 2 running backs that we absolutely love. 3 running backs we love. We got 4 really good wide receivers. Tracy, Grundo, and Adams on waivers. I mean, the only player that I would potentially consider here is Tracy or Grundo, but that would probably be for Lamb, would be how I would look at those guys. But personally, I'd probably just hold Lamb there because you do have the running back depth there, C. Jar Jar, a.k.a. J. Remy. Start 1. Devontae Adams, Jerry Jeudy, Jawan Jennings, Devontae Smith. Am I going to be insane here, Jar Jar, and tell you to start Jerry Jeudy? I mean, how can you not start Jerry Jeudy after last week? Like, that's kind of the part for me. I don't have any of these guys above Jerry Jeudy. Like, I have Jawan Jennings behind him. I have Devontae Adams ahead of Jerry Jeudy, but it's between Devontae Adams and Jerry Jeudy for me here, Jar, and I would personally be going with Jerry Jeudy if I were you. Go with the hot hand. C, so number 2, standard. Pick up Hunt or Madison from Rivers. I'll pick up Hunt. I mean, we saw the ultimate level value that he does have when he is the number 1. Now, I think he's probably not startable while it's him in the Isaiah Pacheco show. But like we've seen, Isaiah Pacheco did get hurt. Not that I'm risking my Isaiah Pacheco shares. As you guys can see, Isaiah Pacheco was on the thumbnail today. But I personally lean with Hunt over Alexander Madison. Mark, appreciate you being here. You said Caleb Williams or Brock Purdy this week. Thanks, of course, Mark. Of course. I personally lean Brock Purdy. I know they're playing each other. But I lean Brock Purdy. Caleb Williams has kind of been on a heater, though. We're talking about a Brock Purdy who absolutely got knocked out of last week's game. It's close. I have them 2 spots apart here, Mark. So if you personally want to lean with the hot hand, of which has been Caleb Williams, we know he's going to have to throw the ball against San Francisco because they're probably going to get down. I just have Brock Purdy a spot ahead. So, Mark, I'm reevaluating this. Ask me this tomorrow. You're going to make me sleep on this one. This will be the one question that I think about all night. But I personally lean Brock Purdy at this point. Steele, appreciate you being here. He said flex Neighbors, Pacheco, or Hubbard. I personally lean Steele with Malik and Neighbors. Chuba Hubbard's been getting the volume. We know that. But with Jonathan Brooks coming back, Jonathan Brooks had about a 20% snap share last week. Does he eat more into that 30% snap share this week? We'll have to see. And then Isaiah Pacheco, I mean, he's still splitting the work with Kareem Hunt. I think at some point that'll switch. So, like, I have Isaiah Pacheco as my RB24 this week. But I still have Malik Neighbors a little bit higher than that. Appreciate you, Steele. We then got Jay Remy. Said sit one, Josh Jacobs, Tracy Jr., or Chase Brown. Oh, my goodness, Gerger. What the heck, bro? So, Josh Jacobs, we love the matchup this week. So then it comes down between Chase Brown and Tyrone Tracy. And Chase Brown is going up against Dallas, who have been atrocious against the run. So give me Chase Brown. Give me Josh Jacobs here. I will be sitting Tyrone Tracy there. Gerger, a.k.a. Jay Remy, who was on the beat. Let's put back on some Element beats. And like I said, guys, if you guys haven't already, hit that like button. It helps me out so much. Hit that subscribe button, too. We're answering all start state questions. My whole entire goal this season has been to help you win a fantasy football championship. And we're not stopping now. We're not stopping. So appreciate you guys. On the way to 5,000 subscribers. So a lot of exciting stuff happening here in the community. We got the next question coming in from James. Shout out to James for being here. You said pick 3, Reed, Harrison, Keenan Allen, or Thomas Jr. Yeah, so we're going to be picking Reed. We're going to be picking Harrison Jr. And then it kind of comes down to Brian Thomas with Mac Jones at quarterback, or Keenan Allen, who we saw 2 weeks ago, the Keenan Allen like breakout that we've kind of been waiting for. And honestly, the last 2 weeks been very good for Keenan Allen. So I personally lean with Keenan Allen over Brian Thomas Jr., especially knowing that Brian Thomas Jr. is getting the ball thrown to him by Mac Jones. Now, we did see last week with a little bit of Trevor Lawrence, we saw 10 targets, 4 receptions for 76 yards. For Brian Thomas, he ended up getting it going. I'm personally leaning with Keenan Allen over Brian Thomas, but I would understand if you wanted to go with the Brian Thomas way there, James. So I would go Reed, Harrison, and Keenan Allen. Yo, shout out to Sheik. Appreciate you being here. And then Emily, appreciate you being here. Emil, dude, I don't know why I said Emily there, but appreciate you. You said Bryce Young or Goff this week. We're really having this discussion. Jared Goff, the worry is always with Jared Goff. Are they going to just be running the ball enough that issues are going to arise with him not getting enough volume? But we're talking about a Bryce Young who's continuing to absolutely ball out. Now, they're going up against Philadelphia, so he did put up decent fantasy numbers versus Kansas City. Last week versus Tampa Bay was a little bit better of a matchup. I personally still lean with Jared Goff there. Appreciate you tuning in to the channel. We got Dave up next, and he said, what's up, brother? Hey, what's up, brother? Is it like, what's up, brother? Are you doing that like sketch, or are you just saying, what's up, brother? Appreciate you. You said, who would you start at wide receiver 2, Dave? Oh, Dave. Did you put it in the chat, bro? Oh, here we are. Here we are, dude. We caught you. We caught you. We had to scroll down to your default question, but appreciate you. You said, who would you start at wide receiver 2? Options are Debo, Devontae Adams, Nisbrook, Akine, Addison. You also have Brees and Flex, but don't know a situation. Who would you start in that spot as well? Yeah. So if I have to start a 2, I will be going with Devontae Adams, and then I will be going with Jordan Addison. But it's hard for me to say. So Devontae Adams would be the 2. If Brees Hall is not going to play, then I would go with Jordan Addison. But the issue is Nick Westbrook-Akine has been touchdown or bust. Dude, he scored 7 touchdowns in his last 8 games. Well, technically, one game he did have 2. So it's just been incredible for Nick Westbrook-Akine. Every time I say that he can't do it, he just keeps doing it. So if you keep wanting to roll with the hot hand, that's there. But the issue is he hasn't been getting the volume. So it's been touchdown or bust. So, Dave, I personally want to lean with Addison and Devontae Adams. Even Addison over Debo. I know that's crazy. But I could think you could debate the Nick Westbrook-Akine in case Brees Hall is not there. So appreciate you for tuning in, Dave. And then Gerger, a.k.a. Jay Remy, coming in, says, should I look at either Tennessee defense or Jacksonville defense? You already have Seattle defense this week. Tennessee Titans defense is a sneaky one this week, going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars with no Trevor Lawrence. I personally lean with them. Now, Jacksonville is also a sneaky defense. I have them as a top 15 defense, but I personally, Gerger, would lean with the Tennessee defense. Yo, Unruly Drip, appreciate you tuning in, man. Thanks for being here. Gabriel said Devontae, DJ Moore, Hopkins, Amari, Debo for start 3. We'll be going with DJ Moore. We'll be going with Devontae Adams. And that's between Hopkins, Amari, and Debo. And I'll roll out Debo there. I wish we could have more confidence in Hopkins going forward. I mean, he hasn't hit over, double-digit fantasy points since week 9 in full PPR. So until he does it, I'm not going to tell you to start him in these big games. So I would go with and I know Debo hasn't done it, but Debo, at least they can get him worked creatively. Even though it hasn't been amazing, I still will take Debo over Hopkins and Amari. Appreciate you, Gabriel. Element says, should I start Caleb Williams or pick a QB off waiver? I'm cool to start. I'm cool to start Caleb Williams this week, honestly, man. I think you're in a good spot if you do have Caleb Williams going forward. We got Seawolves coming in here with his number 3. He said, get 3. Play 2 quarterback, have Mahomes, Love, and Goff. Yeah, we'll be going with Love and Goff. And then you said Nix and Purdy are on waivers. Ooh, Nix and what? How many in a 2 quarterback league? You got all these guys? Yeah, if we're looking at like rest of season ranking, is this what you're asking? Oh, goodness, coughing out of here out of nowhere. That thing came in like a rocket. Okay, well, we're talking rest of season here. See, I'll keep Patrick. I want Bo Nix. Let's say we get 3. I want Mahomes, Bo Nix, and Jordan Love. So I would drop Goff for Nix. And then honestly, this week, just to do that, to hold, I would then just play Mahomes and Love, if that helps you see. But I would go get Nix if he's out there on waivers. Jared said, I got a big one. I need to win this week at Goff or Darnold at QB. I will be going with Goff, Jared. And then you said, wide receiver, I can start 5 out of DK, Lamb, Addison, Harrison, Odunze, Jennings, and then Pitts and Kraft. Okay, cool. We will be going with DK. We will be going with CD Lamb. We will be going... We'll be going with Marvin Harrison Jr., so we're at 3. We'll be going with Jawan Jennings for 4. And then we'll be going with Jordan Addison at 5. So DK, Lamb, Addison, Harrison, Jennings. And then between Pitts and Kraft here, Jared, I personally will be going with Tucker Kraft versus Detroit. Tucker Kraft's been on, I don't want to say a heater, but 8, 7 fantasy points the last 2 weeks in full PPR respectively. Kyle Pitts, it's been a lot of zeros. So I don't think I can tell you in my right mind to go start Kyle Pitts there, Jared. But appreciate you tuning in, man. Sheik said, need 1 flex, Romo Dunze, Adam Thielen, or Jawan Jennings. I'll be going with Jawan Jennings there, Sheik. And then also Bucks D or Titans D this week. I will personally be going with the Titans D. The Bucks D have been super consistent. I do want to highlight that. Versus Las Vegas or Tennessee versus Jacksonville, but I will be going with Tennessee, even though it hasn't been the most amazing defensive season for Tennessee. But like I said, guys, if you guys haven't already, hit that like button, answering every start state question here tonight. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, we answer every start state question. We're getting back in the swing of posting from Thanksgiving, so helping you guys win as we're coming into that home stretch. Jay Remy said, start Amari Cooper, D-Hop, or Marvin MVS, full PPR, choose only one. Jay, I'll be putting D-Hop as my number 1 here. I know I just down talked him a little bit when we were talking through the other options for someone else, but I will be going with D-Hop over these 2. Potson said Ingram, Tucker Kraft, or Noah Gray. You know what? Shout out to Noah Gray for making an appearance. Potson, I appreciate you asking the hard-hitting question that everyone wants to know. Can Noah Gray turn up this week? But personally, I'd be going with Evan Ingram. I think having a quarterback like Mac Jones, as much as we saw him absolutely pepper targets to a guy like Parker Washington, I think that does always, the backup quarterback and the tight end are always best friends. So I do go with Evan Ingram there. Element said, I got some pretty easy lineup locks. Let's go, Element. Let's go. The dude, 253. Shout out to the dude. You said Marvin Harrison Jr. or ETN this week. I lean. we got to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. I know you see the jerseys behind me, so I'm not trying to like be disrespectful to a guy like a Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne's gone up my rankings this week. I do want you to know the dude. Like, he has gone up. He was just super quiet last week. And so going into this week, matchup versus Tennessee. I mean, it's a better matchup, like running the ball wise. But I don't think I can tell you. I know, and I also know Marvin Harrison Jr. has been a man of inconsistency, a man of just not great fantasy football production, like high-end fantasy football production. So you could maybe make the argument that Travis Etienne's a little safer in the fact that he's going to get touches, where Marvin Harrison Jr., we don't even know if he's going to get the targets on a week-to-week basis. But I go with Marvin Harrison Jr. here, the dude. Appreciate you. And then Jay Remy said, start Najee Harris or Kenneth Walker. Okay. Yep. Nope. No. We're going Kenneth Walker here, dude. And I know the worry. I already hear you. I already hear you, Gerger, saying Caleb. Kenneth Walker versus Arizona. He was held scoreless. Only 46 yards last week, dude. What are you doing? I said versus Arizona. This week he's going up against Arizona. Last week versus the Jets. But I would be leaning with Kenneth Walker here, Gerger, a.k.a. Jay Remy. Like I said, if you haven't checked out Jay Remy's channel, turn up. Dave, appreciate you being here. Unruly Drip said, need RB2, Najee or Rico in PPR. Unruly, I will be going with Najee Harris this week. I know Rico had the day. I know it looked good on Thursday, Thanksgiving football. Going up against Cincinnati, I just don't know how much. I think they're going to be playing from behind. And so I know he got over 100 yards. He looked super explosive, 18.3 fantasy points in full PPR. But I still lean Najee Harris this week versus Cleveland. And I know it's a rougher defense. Like, the Cincinnati defense is cheeks. I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan. I can say that. But the thing that I do want to mention with Najee Harris is he was a non-participant in practice. So you just might need to monitor that unruly. Colby said, need help. Quarterback, Allen, Hall, Cooper, Allen, Braylon Allen, Fidel, Leggett, Brooks. Need help. Quarterbacks. Oh, you need help. Okay. Colby, I don't know, like Colby, this is me asking you honestly. I don't know who's out there on waivers. I think you got a good team, bro. I think we talked through, I can see where we're struggling at wide receiver. I think having upside in production at wide receiver is kind of your biggest hindering at this point. You have Brees, Monty, you got Garendo. We're just looking at trying to get some better wide receiver play. And I know you have MBS and Nick Westbrook-Akine, so those would be the top two off of waivers. You got Hunt and Downs on IR. So, dude, you're probably just going to have to roll it out. I don't know if you have trades that are open, if you still have a trade deadline. I mean, a lot of my trade deadlines have passed. So let me know what specific question I can help with this team here, Colby. Not trying to push you off. I don't know. When I get the full team and I don't really get a question, it's hard for me to answer that. Adam said, start one, Kyler, Love, Caleb, Levis, or Carr, maybe considering matchup. Yeah, well, we talked earlier about Caleb having great matchup, but I personally am with Kyler Murray here. It's either Kyler Murray or Jordan Love versus Detroit, but Kyler Murray versus Seattle is the way that I want to go there. Adam, appreciate you tuning in, man. And I know it's been also hit or miss with the up and down of Kyler Murray. Dave said, also wondering who I should start at tight end. You have Kraft and you have Disley. Dave, I will be going with Tucker Kraft out of those options. Jay Rooney said, by the way, I'm definitely asking questions for my homies teams too. I need a win plus 2 people to lose to lock in playoffs. Let's go. Let's go, Jay Remy. Yeah, that was your beat, bro. That was your beat. Thanks for tuning in. Where are we at? We got the beat still playing in the back. Are they still loading? I don't know what's happening. Sound effects. I don't know. There we go. Element. Oh, wait. No. Gabe says, started the season 8th in my league. Now I'm 2nd. Thanks for the help. Hey, Gabriel, appreciate you tuning in, man. Sometimes the main thing is just staying consistent. I think a lot of us know the first 4 weeks of a season can be absolute chaos, but the fact that you've come back and you've been hanging out, tuning in the channel, bro, you're going places. Element said, lineup is Josh Allen, Dowdle, Kyron, Judy, Puka, Kittle, Chase Brown, Cards, DM, Boswell. I didn't know Remy is Gerger. Yeah, that's Remy. He changed his name, Element. He wants to be like you. Shout out to Element and J Remy if you guys want to hear some chill beats. They got him on their channel. Love it. Shadow LZ Wicked, appreciate you tuning in. He said pick 2, Marvin Harrison Jr., Nick Westbrook, Akine, and Rashad White. Well, right now, Shadow, I will say this. I'm leaning Marvin Harrison Jr. and I'm leaning Rashad White because Bucky Irving didn't practice today. Now, if we get full reports that Bucky Irving's going to be healthy this week, which I'm still kind of assuming he is, then I think it's a little bit closer of an argument between Nick Westbrook, Akine, and Rashad White. But I still lean Rashad White, even though we do know how it is with Nick Westbrook, Akine just always scoring tutties, just week after week after week. But I still lean Rashad White there, Shadow. So, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Rashad White is who I would be going with if I was you. Angelo said Lamb or Lad this week. Lost last week because I started Chuba over Higgins, bro. Sorry, Angelo. Higgins has been on an absolute heater. Now, when we talk about this, we need to monitor Lad's injury just a little bit, because personally I would be going with Lad over CeeDee Lamb, but we do need to monitor the knee shoulder. So at this point, he was limited. He's got 2 separate injuries. So I think we got to go with CeeDee Lamb here, Angelo, just knowing, oh, it's 0.5 PPR instead of full. Yeah. Give me CeeDee Lamb. Give me CeeDee Lamb. They're close enough in my rankings that give me CeeDee Lamb. Thanks for that little extra piece of a nugget there, Angelo. Appreciate you tuning in. Eddie said, last question. Thoughts on dropping JMO for Jonathan Brooks? Yeah, give me, Eddie, assuming you don't need, like, if Jamison Williams is your wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, I'm cool to drop him for Jonathan Brooks. If he's like your wide receiver 3, I'm probably holding him for Jonathan Brooks. So it just kind of depends on where he's at. If you guys can hear, there's like a giant snowstorm happening right now outside my house. So super windy. Apologies if you hear that through the mic. But yeah, you give me Jonathan Brooks if I can have it. Shane, appreciate you tuning in. You said start Goff or Tua this week. I will be going with Jared Goff here, Shane. Not that I don't like what we're seeing from Tua Tagovailoa, but I still got Jared Goff ahead in the overall rankings. You then said start Kincaid or Freiermuth. Man, we are desperate, Shane, at the tight end position. I would be going with Pat Freiermuth. He's had more fantasy football success this year. I can't tell anybody in their right mind in this type of the time of the season to go start Dalton Kincaid. We got Shane also said start Elijah Moore, Parker Washington, or Nick Chubb. Oh, goodness, bro. We got to monitor Cedric Tillman this week. I lean at this moment saying Elijah Moore, but it's close between Elijah Moore and Parker Washington. So, Shane, I'm planning on putting out more content this week, so ask me about Elijah Moore and Parker Washington later on this week if you have a chance, because I don't want to not, like, those are the 2 that I'm leaning with, but I'm looking, because tomorrow we got the Green Bay Packers versus Detroit, so you still have time to make this decision. I would wait a little bit, but I lean Elijah Moore at this point in the week. Rico said flex Pacheco or Tracy Jr. full PPR. Rico, I have Tyrone Tracy about 10 spots higher in my running back rankings this week in full PPR than Pacheco. Not that I think Pacheco, if he can fully take back, like if he can get back to being a 65-70% touch share of this Kansas City Chiefs backfield, we're going to be looking at Pacheco being a lot more of a player for you heading into the playoffs than what he has been. But until we start to see that volume happen, I do want to go with Tyrone Tracy. Jeremy said Sam Laporta, Kyle Pitts, or Kate Otten at tight end this week. Listen, I'm going with Kate Otten. I know it's been bad the last 2 weeks. Kyle Pitts has been cheeks, and then Sam Laporta, it's been better. We can say it. It's been better, but I still want Kate Otten over Sam Laporta this week, even though it's not the best matchup. AK Shay, appreciate seeing you in the fantasy football streets. You said rank these 5 this week: Saquon, Gibbs, Bucky, Jacobs, Kamara, PPR. Goodness, AK Shay. Goodness. So if you tuned in, AK Shay, I would look at you like these are all top 5 running backs for me, or top 10 running backs for me rest of the season. But this week I got Saquon, I got Kamara, I got Gibbs, and then I got Bucky. Actually, pause. I missed Kamara when I'm reading. I got Kamara after Gibbs. So I got Saquon, Gibbs, Kamara, Bucky, Jacobs. That's the order that I have it, AK Shay. I would have those 5 ranked out. And then your next question is asking start 2 wide receivers, Metcalf, DJ Moore, Jacoby Myers. So we're going to be going with Metcalf for sure. And then it's between DJ Moore and Jacoby Myers. And we all know Jacoby Myers has been on a little bit of a heater. Jacoby Myers is slipping into my wide receiver rankings as my wide receiver 18. So personally, I'd be going with Jacoby Myers over DJ Moore. So give me Metcalf and then give me Jacoby Myers. But DJ Moore has also been on a heater. Maximo, bro, shout out to Maximo for being here. He called me out. He was like, dude, I need you in the fantasy football streets. And I was like, dude, cool. Let me take off my being sad about Ohio State losing to Michigan. So if you guys do want to rub that in my face, feel free. It was a bad game. It was a bad game. I agree. But you said, what's up, Caleb? My team is in the playoffs, half PPR. Bo Nix, Bijan, Chase Brown, George Pickens, Mike Evans, McBride, Pollard, Pacheco. What do you think? Grade my team. Yeah, bro. I probably give this a B+. And this is not me saying, like, I think we talked about, like, there's no perfect fantasy football team. So I think grades are hard because if I give you an A, it's like, oh, cool. Like, my team's, like, super good. Like, a B+ is super good. Like, I feel like it's like the Dave Portnoy, one bite, everyone knows the rules, where, like, if you give someone, like, a 7, they're, like, ticked. But it's, like, you only ever, like, if you get an 8, that's, like, actually a 9. I think this is a great team. I think you got a very good shot heading into the playoffs. I think you got a lot of upside at your running back spots. I think you're in a good position, Maximo. So appreciate you tuning in. Like the Bo Nix, I think that's an underrated move on your overall team. But like I said, guys, we're answering every start-sit question this season. So if you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, hit that like and subscribe button if you are new. Justin said, start 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, full PPR, Lamb, Puka, Neighbors, Barkley, Monty, Jacobs, Grendo. So we start with the 2 running backs. We'll be going with Barkley. We'll be going with Jacobs. And then for wide receivers, we'll be going with Puka. And then we'll be going with Neighbors. And so then it's essentially, are you starting Monty or are you going to be starting CD Lamb? Let me pull up my flex rankings just so I don't, for full PPR too. I'd be going with David Montgomery over CD Lamb, which is crazy, Justin. I know. It was, the targets were there for CD Lamb. It's not like CD Lamb had a bad day. Like, I mean, it was a bad day. He only put up 3.9 fantasy points. And pause. I was looking at standard rankings. 5.9 fantasy points in full PPR. So it wasn't great, but he's still getting the targets. I just trust David Montgomery a little bit more for you in your flex spot there, Justin. We go to the next question from AKC. Said, start 2 wide receivers, full PPR. Cup, Pickens, JSN, Metcalf, Neighbors. I will be going with Cup, and I will be going with Pickens there, AKJ, which I feel like you got some great options. Like that question made me kind of like pause, and I was like, huh. Like, do we like George Pickens versus Neighbors was the one where I was like, who am I taking there? But I think you got some really great options. And JSN is also up there. Shout out to JSN for absolutely breaking out. Like, I can't say enough good things about JSN. Hunter said, yo, sorry, Caleb, I forgot to put in Juwan with the Tyreek question. Would you still go with Tracy? Yeah, I'd still go with Tracy. Yeah, still give me Tracy there, Hunter. Appreciate you. I mean, I do have Juwan Jennings. I would go with Tyreek Hill over Juwan Jennings, though, too. So he's kind of out there for me. Cameron said, remember me trading JSN for Bucky Irving has paid off so well. Dude, well, I think that's a win-win for both teams. I mean, JSN's been absolutely balling out here over the last few weeks, but I'm glad you did it, and I'm glad you got Bucky Irving because, like I said, I have Bucky Irving as a top 10 running back rest of season. And I in our subscriber league, PB and J, which I don't know if PB's in here or not, we made a trade, and he got Bucky Irving for me, and I got Terry McLaurin. So, like, I think there's a lot of good trades that can work out, but yeah, Bucky's been absolutely amazing. That one Marcel said, could get Bigsby any of the Raiders backs or Charbonnet from the waivers for my RB2 spot, or should I stick with Gus Edwards? Bye week has me screwed. So we got Gus Edwards sliding in as our RB30 this week. I think the one guy is going to be that we would debate is going to be Sincere McCormick for the Raiders. I mean, he's an undrafted free agent versus Kansas City, got 12 carries for 64 yards, 5.3 yards per carry is an interesting one. I still lean Gus Edwards there, but even like we said last week without J.K. Dobbins, put up only 4.3 fantasy points in full PPR. So if you don't feel comfortable with Gus, that one Marshall, then I would go with Sincere McCormick would be my pickup there for the Raiders. Trev, in bye week hell. I mean, a lot of us are in terrible. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. You said start 1, Cooks, Ferguson, or Gray. Trev, we are in absolute terrible. I lean with Cooks. I think they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. But like we said, that's not going to be great targets. Not going to be great targets at all. But I personally lean with Cooks. Appreciate you, Trev. But it's hard for me not to tell you to start Noah Gray after what I saw last week. Jeff said Saints D or Steelers D this week. Oh my gosh, if you guys hear that wind, I go with Steelers D this week versus Cleveland. We just saw what the Broncos D did last week to Jameis. Mr. 30 for 30. Yeah, give me the Saints. Or not Saints. Give me the Steelers D versus that Cleveland Browns defense. And we got Jay Remy said Deebo Samuel, BTJ, or Chubb at flex. It's between Deebo Samuel and Brian Thomas Jr. I don't know. I feel like you already asked me this, Jay, and I'm over here tripping because now every time like I said, I view my rankings, and then I also there's the gut instinct too, with how I go into these decisions. I lean Brian Thomas Jr. here. I don't know if I told you Deebo. Both of them are very close to my rankings, but I personally go with BTJ this week. Oh, that one Marshall said full PPR. Yeah. I would say I assumed it was full PPR. Marshall, I would, like you said, Gus Edwards or Sincere McCormick. Nino, so what's up, Kale? Hey, what up, bro? You said looking to make my final move before the deadline. Really wanted Bijan. Shout out to you for still having trades open. You said you offered Cook, B-Rob for Bijan, but he countered with Cook plus Chase Brown. Nino, you said your current running backs are Chase Brown, James Cook, Bucky, Brian Thomas, Tracy, and Parks. Okay. So we're giving up Chase Brown and James Cook. We still got a top 10. So you're going to have 2 top 10 running backs for me and Brian Robinson and Tracy. Wow. I think the issue is you're not able to start all these guys, Nino. And I think you have enough depth to deal with injuries. So, Nino, I would personally do the deal. I think, like I said, I have Chase Brown as my RB7 rest of the season, RB2, Bijan Robinson. You're also giving up James Cook, who's like my RB13. So RB7, RB13 for the RB2. Feels pretty steep. I hope you can get something small thrown in, Nino, but I would do the deal. I want the best player, and you got the depth. So you're losing the deal, Nino, but I would do the deal. Jay Remy said, Ellen Burrow finally got used to saying Gerger. Now I'm switching it up on him again. Yeah, Jay Remy, switching it up on me, like you always do. Like you always do. And now it's time for the Jay Remy beat to come back on. Chief Wood said, Keenan Allen or Rico Dowdle at flex, full PPR. Chief, I will be going with Rico Dowdle this week. Even though Keenan Allen's been on an absolute heater, I lean the Rico Dowdle side, especially after what he did last week. Jonathan said, hey, Caleb, 10-man PPR starting Hurts, Jacobs, Tyrone Tracy, Ridley, Kelsey. Should I flex Smitty, Adams, or Jennings? No, I like your lineup exactly how it is there, Jonathan. And said also which defense, Cardinals, Packers, or Chargers? Bro, I would be going with the Cardinals defense. And it's not popular opinion. I want that to be clear. There's a lot of people in the fantasy streets that'll tell you probably shouldn't go with the Cardinals. They'd probably recommend going with the Packers this week. I just can't do it, dude. I couldn't do the Packers. I couldn't do the Chargers. Got to go. I'm starting the Arizona Cardinals this week. Have them as a top 10 defense. And, I mean, they recorded 5 sacks last week. And Seattle, Minnesota, they put up 11 versus Seattle 2 weeks ago, depending on your scoring format of the defense. I mean, I've liked what I've seen from this defense over the last 4 weeks. So I would personally be going with the Arizona Cardinals. Shadow said pick 2, Marvin Harrison Jr., Nick Westbrook, Akine. Shadow, you must have missed it, but bro, I went with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Rachaad White there, my dude. Fantasy Football Girl said, hey, was on a cruise. Listen, I was out, so we were both gone last week. So happy to see you on. Need help with quarterback. We'll be going with Caleb Williams there, Fantasy Football Girl. And then flex 1, we got MVS or Westbrook, Akine. We got the 2 waiver wire darlings. I lean Nick Westbrook, Akine here over MVS. Continue riding the hot touchdown. Now, both of them have had like really great touchdown hands, but I personally go with Nick Westbrook, Akine. This is my most serious must win. Listen, I feel like On the flex question, I feel great about the quarterback question there, Fantasy Football Girl. On the flex question, I feel it's so close. It's so close. But I do lean with Nick Westbrook-Akine, and she says, hit that like button, y'all. Caleb's best. Appreciate you, Fantasy Football Girl. You are the freaking best. Thanks for always tuning in. We got Potson said JMO or Kareem Hunt PPR. Potson, I will be going with JMO. I just feel like since Kareem Hunt is dealing with Isaiah Pacheco, it's hard for us to value, like, you know, even if he gets like 8 to 10 rushing attempts. The reason that he was so fantasy football valuable was because he was getting 20 to 25 touches a game. And with Isaiah Pacheco coming back fully healthy, with them getting him ramped up, that's just not going to be happening. So I would be going with JMO. And then Jay Remy said, this channel is empty, by the way, but music is on the way. I promise y'all. Shout out to Jay. Shout out to Jer for being here. For any OG. Edison, appreciate you being here. You said, where have you been? Dude, I hate to say this, but this is not my full-time thing. This is a part-time side hustle. I say a side hustle, but like, I mean, it is. It takes us, if we edit a video, record and edit a video, it takes us like 2 hours to record one video. And then of course the live stream and all that. And I was gone in Ohio visiting family for Thanksgiving. I'm also married, so I was seeing my wife's family. And so the holidays was just busy. But I did put out videos last week, Edison. So if you missed it, you just didn't tune into the videos. So, but I do answer all the comments on my video. So I could have been there for you, but it's good to see you, my boy. Chisel said Kyler or Jordan Love. I will be going with Kyler. He said, also, am I crazy for considering benching Breece Hall? I don't think you're crazy, especially with Breece Hall dealing with an injury. I think you probably still do have to start Breece Hall over Isaac Guerrero, but I think it's close there, Chisel. But I personally lean Breece Hall still over Isaac Guerrero. Gerardo? People have been saying that people in the fantasy space are saying that name wrong all the time, and I probably am too. Colby said, biggest thing would be figuring out wide receivers in flex. I got you with your team. Okay, Colby, I appreciate you staying around. As you know, it takes like a bazillion years to get back. So yeah, I would go with, so if we're looking at your current squad, with what you would do, you have your lineup set exactly how I would have it. The biggest question, Colby, that I would do, is going to be looking at, potentially Braylon Allen as an option in case Breece Hall's out this week. But otherwise, I think you got a good squad built to be in a good spot. And you said, I'm not sure about Marvin Harrison Jr. Should I start him or someone else off the bench? Yeah, I would start Guerrero. I would also start Marvin Harrison Jr. I understand it hasn't been great, Colby, but that's what I would do. Edison, you think I should bench DK? No, I'm still starting DK over Nick Westbrook-Akine, even though it's been freaking amazing. I know. Listen, Edison, you're bringing up great facts. I have DK ranked higher than I do Nick Westbrook-Akine. But it's lower. It's like lower than usual for a DK ranking. We're banking all this on touchdown upside, Edison, and touchdowns are so fluky, even though seems like our boy scores a touch, Nick NWI scores a touchdown each and every game. I will say this. You go with your gut, my guy. It's the fantasy football playoffs. It's the week before the playoffs. It's your time. It's your time. So I would do whatever you want to do. It's a juicy match for the Titans. You're speaking to me. I understand. I personally still lean DK. Israel said, hey, buddy, thanks for the context. Got a fiddle man. You're in so we got Caleb or Jordan Love, PPR, and appreciate you being here, Israel. I would go with Jordan Love over Caleb Williams this week. I understand Caleb Williams has been on an absolute heater. I got Jordan Love as a top 6 QB, and not that I don't have Caleb Williams high. I just have him a little bit lower as my QB 13. So I personally lean with Jordan Love there. Israel. Andrea, appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for tuning into the channel. You've been an absolute great addition to the community this year. Iggy said, would you start Lamb or Addison? I'll be starting CD Lamb. Not sure if Lamb's a good start. I mean, last week, it's hard because he just has to get the volume. And I think when we're looking at CD Lamb, like the ceiling is not him getting 30 fantasy points anymore. The ceiling is probably 20. But can you get a floor of 10 to 11? Like, that's the question. But I personally lean with CeeDee Lamb, Iggy over Jordan Addison. Edison said, who's a better flex, Addison or Nick Westbrook-Akine? I personally this week have Jordan Addison higher in my rankings than Nick Westbrook-Akine, purely based on the volume and targets that he's getting. But like we said, the volume of touchdowns that Nick Westbrook-Akine has been getting has been absolutely incredible. Like I said, if Nick Westbrook-Akine touches a touchdown, he probably outscores Jordan Addison. But Jordan Addison probably outscores Nick Westbrook-Akine if he doesn't score a touchdown. So that's kind of where the balance has to come into play. And I'm one where I don't try to project my guys to get touchdowns because, like, they are the flukiest aspect of fantasy football when you're trying to make projections. So I personally lean with Jordan Addison, but Addison, I would understand if you want to go with Nick Westbrook-Akine. Emelanio, appreciate you being here. You said Kyler Baker this week. I will be going with Kyler. You said also crazy for considering Jacoby Myers having Kupp, CeeDee Lamb, and Evans. I don't think it's crazy. I personally would keep I would keep Kupp, CeeDee, and Mike Evans over Jacoby Myers. But just so you know, I do have Jacoby Myers as a top 17 wide receiver. So it's not like I'm over here saying, "Oh my gosh, that's a crazy take." That's a crazy take. I just think you have 3 top 10 receivers in your starting lineup that I would be going with over Jacoby Myers. Yeah, Colby, I hear you. I'm starting everyone that we talked about already. And then Emilio said, currently have Ertz on bye and starting Disley. Should I drop any of them for Kraft? Yes, I would drop Disley for Kraft because I want to start Kraft this week. And then I'd keep Zach Ertz because he has been balling over Disley. Jay Remy, well, the beats stopped. I need to put him up. He said, can't hear the snowstorm. All I hear is the chill beats in the background. Boom. Let's go. Andrea says, same here in Buffalo. A lot of snow and wind. Andrea, listen, but shout out to you for being in Buffalo. My boss, who's the most amazing boss ever, she lives in Buffalo. A lot of great people out here in the Buffalo area. I'll have to come visit sometime because I've never been to Buffalo. JB 1300 said flex Hubbard or Westbrook-Akine. JB, I will be going with Chuba Hubbard based on the volume aspect. Like we said, the touchdown aspect. Like if I could see through the future and say, yep, 100% Nick Westbrook-Akine is catching a touchdown this week, which historically over the last 8 games, you could probably project out pretty well. I still lean with Chuba Hubbard this week over Nick Westbrook-Akine there. JB 1300. If you guys, we got 26 people in here, only 22 likes. Please hit that like button. Helps me out so much. Nahil Najjar, appreciate you being here. You said, which defense would you play week 16? Eagles versus the Commanders versus the Commies. That was funny. Cardinals versus Panthers or Broncos versus Chargers. Yeah, I would personally lean with the Cardinals versus the Panthers. Now, it's hard not to play the Broncos, though, because we just saw what the Broncos did. The Broncos have been an absolute elite level defense, but you do have the Eagles to kind of bounce off of. So I'm cool to go either way, to hold the Broncos or the Cardinals would be who I would go with there, Neil. Andrea said, need one. Jennings, Devontae Adams, BTJ, half PPR. Andrea, that's a hard one. I have Devontae Adams the highest in my rankings. Like I said, anytime I try to tell somebody to start a jet, there's a little bit of a pit in the stomach that happens. A little bit of a pit. I'm personally leaning with Devontae Adams here, though, Andrea. Johnny38 says, smash that thumbs up button for Caleb, guys. Appreciate you, Johnny. Thanks for being here. Half PPR, start DJ Moore, Isaac Guerrero, or Khalil Shakir. I will be going with Isaac Guerrero purely based on we know that he's going to get that volume. Now, sneaky stash to anybody that's available. If you're in a deeper league, Izzy Abanikanda did get signed to the 49ers, and I think that's a sneaky handcuff now that we know that Isaac's the number one. Seems like everybody in the 49ers backfield always seems to get hurt, so that's a sneaky one. But I go with Isaac Guerrero and half PPR over DJ Moore this week. Johnny38, appreciate you being here. Edison said, of course, I've seen the videos, but I prefer a live stream more. Edison, I appreciate you, bro. I try to provide both. Like, I want to provide live streams so you guys can hop in, get your questions answered. But yeah, sorry, last week was just a crazy week. Not time to do any type of live streams. And then you said, I think Jacob should be ahead of Bucky in your rankings. What? Okay, actually, rest of season, though, Edison, just so you know, I do have Josh Jacobs a spot ahead of Bucky. But this week, I do have Bucky one spot ahead of Jacobs. So I prefer Josh Jacobs rest of season. Johnny38 said, start Kyler Murray versus Seattle or Baker versus Raiders. Johnny38, I will be going with Kyler Murray versus Seattle over Baker Mayfield. Both juicy matchups, both top 5 QBs for me. So if you have a preference between the two, feel free to go that way. Jack Does Skits said, Adam Thielen or Tyrone Tracy, full PPR. Jack Does Skits, I will be going with Tyrone Tracy here, my guy. Appreciate you tuning in. Adam Thielen, what an amazing week last week with seeing what Bryce Young's been able to do, but I personally lean with Tyrone Tracy. Steven said, flex Tyreek, Jennings, or Westbrook. I will be going with Tyreek over Jennings. And then you said Seahawks D or Titans D. The defensive questions. I feel like these are the ones where I'm never confident. And I think I'm batting like 500 this season on defensive questions. So if you ask me a defensive question, not feeling great. I'm going with Titans D here, though. That's who I'm going with, bro. And then you said stream Tua or Caleb. I will stream Caleb Williams this week over Tua. Caleb's been on a heater. They're going to be down. Not that the San Francisco defense has been pretty difficult, but they're a little bit banged up. They've been giving up a little bit, and that's just going to mean that Caleb's going to be able to throw the ball a little bit more in the second half for sure. Edison says, I heard Lions defense is super banged up and should be easy day for Jacobs. We'll see. The Lions Diaz, even still, their backups are going to be ready to play with Dan Campbell. TBR said, start Jay Willie or D-Hop. I will still be starting TBR. I will be starting Garrett Wilson over DeAndre Hopkins this week. My guy. Jax says, Bryce Young, Tommy DeVito, Russell Wilson at QB this week. I will be going with Bryce Young. This is one where I feel confident telling you to start Bryce Young. It's when we're talking Bryce Young in like a category that's a little bit higher above his pay grade for me. You could argue Russell Wilson too versus Cleveland's a juicy matchup, but I'll be going with Bryce Young. Chris Bork said sit one, PPR flex, Tracy Jr., Garendo, Calvin, Ridley, Shakir. If I got to sit one of these guys, I think I'm going to have to sit Shakir. I have Calvin Ridley ranked above Shakir this week, but that's also me saying that, and I'm like, yikes. Like, I do have Calvin Ridley exceptionally high. And then I prefer in PPR Garendo and Tracy Jr. based on that volume over Shakir. And then you said your QBs are on bye, so we're stuck staring down the barrel of Will Levis or Derek Carr. Nowhere you want to be, bro. Nowhere you want to be, but I'll go with Will Levis. The mailman, they're going up against depleted Jacksonville Jaguars offense. Give me Will Levis. Flex Najee or Garendo. I'll be flexing Garendo. Can't believe I got him off waivers. Only lost one game in my dynasty because of buys. Shout out to you. I can't believe you got Garendo either. I tried in all my leagues and I did not get him. I didn't have enough FAB. This is one of those years where I typically recommend people, like if we look at last year, like we had Puka, we had Kyron Williams, in 2023. Now in 2024, this year, we didn't really have any like huge waiver wires from the jump. I'm trying to think of like week one waivers. Like there's none that are like sticking out to me at this point that have been like maybe Tyrone Tracy, somebody, Kareem Hunt was somebody for a while. But now if we're looking like Garendo could be that guy going forward. So if you got him off of waivers, you got to feel really good about where he's at. Froggy said, we got Pickens, Jacoby, Jerry Jeudy, pick 2. I will personally be going Froggy with Pickens, and I'll go with Jacoby. Listen, it's hard for me not to say go Jerry Jeudy after what we just freaking saw. It's hard for me not to tell you that, but I'm personally going with Jacoby and Pickens there. My guy, John, appreciate you. Dude, listen, I saw your video pop up. I need to watch whatever video you just posted because it just popped up in my feed. I don't know if this was from last week or this was a recent video that you uploaded, bro, but I need to check it out. You said start 2 out of the 4. We got Dowdle, London, Neighbors, or Harrison Jr. I'm going to be going with London and Neighbors here. Me telling you not to start Rico Dowdle is also like eating at me just a tad bit because of what we saw last week from Rico Dowdle and that overall volume. But yeah, I'll be going with London and Neighbors this week for wide receiver options. And just to give like context, both of them are top 12 wide receivers for me. So I feel very comfortable with them. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a little bit lower than Rico Dowdle's a little bit lower too. But appreciate you, bro. We got Edison said prediction on Thursday Night Football. So we're looking, like we said, we got the the Detroit versus Green Bay. I mean, I think Detroit's going to win. Hopefully, Jahmyr Gibbs absolutely pops off because I need him to. Chris said, it's not too early to start Guerrero, ? Chris, it's not too early, dude. There's nobody else. He's the starter for a 49ers team that loves to run the ball. Give me all the Isaac Guerrero that I can have, bro. Give me Isaac Guerrero. Jesus said, flex 1, Lamb, Parker, Guerrero, Tracy Jr. I personally would go with CD Lamb here. CD Lamb's the upside play, especially if it's full PPR. Now, it's close between CD Lamb for me and Tyrone Tracy. So if you prefer to go with Tyrone Tracy, the running back, I understand. But I still have him high enough that I do want the CD Lamb side there. Jesus. Jack said, who is the Niners' backup running back? Be a good pickup. Yes, that's what bro, you jumped in a second late. I told everyone he's going to be in my mustache video this week, but they signed Izzy Abanikanda off the practice squad from the Jets because they need running back help. Give me some Izzy Abanikanda. Super, just, I wouldn't say he's a great running back because he was on a practice squad for the Jets. But if you did look at his profile, he does kind of profile as if he were to get an opportunity, he would definitely be startable for fantasy football. We got Froggy coming in. He says, why Jacoby over Jerry Jeudy? Caleb, you are an absolute idiot. Did you not watch the Monday Night Football game with Jerry Jeudy? And bro, I did. Jerry Jeudy looked like freaking prime. Absolutely prime, like CD Lamb. Dude was electric. It was incredible. Now, I do have Jerry Jeudy sliding in as my wide receiver 21 this week, Froggy. I got Jacoby Myers sliding in as my wide receiver 17. One of it's because of the fact that Jerry Jeudy's now going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. A little bit of a different beast than the Denver Broncos defense. Even though Denver Broncos, they have a good defense, we know that. I personally lean, and Patrick Surtain's hard. Like, we get it. Patrick Surtain's a good, and Jerry Jeudy made him look absolutely foolish. I lean Jacoby Myers. I would say this, Froggy. If you want to roll with the hot hand, I understand. You got to go with your gut sometimes, but I personally would go with Jacoby Myers in full PPR. And I would start Pickens over, I would start Pickens over Jerry Jeudy. So give me Pickens and give me Jacoby. And then you said you also have Marvin Harris Jr. Yeah, I still lean Pickens and Jacoby Myers there, my guy. Appreciate you, Froggy. Let me know if I can answer that and if you have any other questions with that. Send me again. Thanks for your time. Must win, of course. We are all in the yeah. Listen, there's kind of a joke in the fantasy creator space that, like, when we get to like week 12, we start doing these like start sit streams, and people are like, it's a must win week, and it's like, listen, guys, I hate to break it to anybody, but like the first 12 weeks are always must win. Like, if we win all of our first 12, we don't have to win. We don't have to be so concerned on the back 9 or whatever. But it's okay. You're funny, bro. You're funny. I just had to add that little bit of a nugget in there. You said, so you got these. You got Chuba, Hall, Elijah Moore, Westbrook, but not Thielen. Need a running back and a flex. Think, yeah. Personally, bro, I would be going with Chuba and Hall. Now, if there's a chance that like we said, if Hall's not going to play, then I do personally lean with Adam Thielen. So I'd go Chuba, Hall, Adam Thielen if Breece Hall doesn't play. And then Raul said, good evening, Caleb. I'm currently in first place. 12-team half PPR. My starting running backs are Achane, Guerrero. Bench is Hunt, Braylon Allen, Benson, Ray Davis, Dell, Keenan Coleman. Do I hold or handcuff? Thank you. Yeah, dude. So we got Achane. We got some handcuffs. Yeah, dude. I think you got a good mix of high priority handcuffs with some bench pieces. Shout out to you for being in first place. I currently just hold what you have. I guess it depends on, like, if you have, like, if Raheem Mostert's out there. I think Raheem Mostert would be someone that I would look to add. And then potentially, like we said, this Izzy Abanikanda would be someone else that I would be looking to add. But I do think you have some really great handcuffs already stashed for other running backs. Edison said, this is my first time ever in the fantasy football playoffs. What's it like playing there? The fantasy football playoffs are like none other. As in any fantasy football game, it doesn't matter what the projections are. It doesn't matter what your record is coming in. It doesn't matter if you were the number 1 or number 2 seed. All you got to do is get 2 to 3 wins to win a fantasy football championship in a row. Boom. You do that, you win. So yeah, just motivate your guys, Edison. Go into the locker room, give them a good pep talk, and they'll kind of be they'll be ready to play for you. Now, if you say the wrong words, that's when all of a sudden they leave. So, yeah, that's my feedback for you, Edison. We got Tua or Kyler. I go with Kyler, dude. Go with Kyler over Tua. Vikings D or Steelers D. I will be going with the Steelers D. I have the Steelers as my #1 defense. Appreciate you and your channel. Your content is excellent. I'm glad your channel is growing. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's been quite the year. I know we went from, I think when we started this year, we were at 2,200 subscribers, and so we crossed 4,000. So it's been a pretty good year of growth. We're still going to be posting stuff in the off season. So like if you guys are tuning into like the NFL draft or dynasty content, like we'll be posting videos. I pretty much post all year round. Eventually we'll split off into 2 channels, one for dynasty, one for redraft. But for now we do it all under one. Appreciate you, dude. Thanks for the kind words. But yeah, we are at that point of the night where if you guys have any final start state questions, throw them into the chat. I know we've only been streaming for like an hour, but the days of the 2-hour streams have not died out, but like it just we don't always have that many questions. VR, I would be going with Disley this week for sure. For sure. So let me know whatever. Throw those last second start state questions in the chat. I will get to them, and then we're gonna be popping out of here. Drinking a little late night Coke, you know. Very healthy beverage for a growing young boy. Jesus said start Love or Herbert this week. So we got Love, like we said, this Thursday night game. And we got Herbert, who's he's kind of made his push back to being, you know, like a top 12 QB, which is kind of crazy that he's back in those graces in the fantasy football community. But Jesus, I personally be going with Jordan Love. He did have a quiet day versus Atlanta last week, but that's the thing. Like with only throwing the ball 23 times, it's really hard for Justin Herbert unless he needs that rushing upside to really get any sort of like decent fantasy football value. So I lean with Jordan Love there. And the Edison said, I've been stacking defensive teams for playoffs, Broncos, Eagles, and Tampa Bay. That's what we love to see, Edison. That's what we love to see. I don't have a ton of roster space in my leagues. I don't have a ton of healthy teams, so I'm only able to like have like 2 defenses at this point. But I think that's smart. TBR said start Bryce, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Caleb Williams. I personally lean Caleb Williams out of all these options here, TBR. That's who I would be going with if I was you. Give me some Caleb Williams. Andrea said, have a good night, everyone. Shout out to Andrea. Thanks for tuning in, Andrea. You've been absolute legend. I think it's always crazy to me, Andrea, that this is the part I respect about you, is that you will ask a question and I won't hear or see anything from you for like 25 minutes, and then you always comment and you always just hang around. So I appreciate you for your support. Like I could name like TBR, you've been here all season. Edison, you've been great. Like Andrea, Element, like you got Jesus, like the VR, like everybody, like the names go on and on, like all the support. And so I can't thank you guys all enough. And I know there's not a lot of people in the space always answering people's questions. And so I just want to continue to provide that to the best of my abilities that I can. Because we all know it's a fake game we play. And there's some strategy, there's some rankings, but like at the end of the day, who would have predicted Nick Westbrook-Akine would be that type of guy? You know, anything like that. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Like I said, if you guys have more start state questions, please put them on to my most recent video. Hit that like button on your way out, but I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.